Okay, y'all. Sorry I'm not there today. My son woke up sick, so she'll be back tomorrow. Anyway, so subtracting rational numbers. So we've been working on subtracting integers, and we've been working on adding fractions and decimals, and we're just going to apply that to subtracting of fractions and decimals. So remember, if it's a fraction, we're going to change from a improper or a mixed number. Sorry, here I am already messing up. I've never used Cami before, so this is new to me. So we're going to start from a mixed number to an improper fraction. And then we're going to make a common denominator. And then we'll add or subtract the numerator. With decimals, remember we line up the decimals. And then if needed, we will fill in a missing value. So that's not always needed. So fill in a missing value with 0. Now, remember when we were subtracting integers, I was not super fond of how they changed it. So remember, we just talked about how if it was minus a negative, that changed to plus a positive. And how if there was a minus sign in front of a number, that meant it was negative. And if there's a plus sign in front of a number, that meant it was positive. So we're still going to follow those same rules for the decimals and fractions. Okay, so we're not going to put anything in that blank. All right, so this first little group here, we're just going to review subtracting our integers. So 7 minus 16. So this is positive 7. This is negative 16. So 7 and negative 16, they're different signs. And if they're different signs, we subtract. So 16 minus 7 is 9. 16 is bigger. It's negative. So it's negative 9. The next one, negative 8 minus 11. They're negative 8, negative 11. So they're same sign, add and keep. So 8 plus 11 is 19. I'll keep my negative. Okay. This one, negative 3 minus 12. Negative 3, negative 12. So same sign, add and keep. So 3 plus 12 is 15. I keep my negative. All right, you all try this one. Do 5 minus 13. All right, so remember this is positive 5. This is negative 13. So they're different signs subtract. So 13 minus 5 is 8. Keep the sign of the larger number, then I'll be exact. 13 is bigger, it's negative, so it's negative 8. Same thing with 3 minus 17. 3 is positive, 17 is negative. So different signs subtract. So 17 minus 3 is 14. 17 is bigger, it's negative. So negative 14. All right, this next section down here, it looks like they're all subtracting a negative. And remember, when we subtract a negative, minus a negative becomes plus a positive. Okay, so on this one, 2 minus negative 10. Minus a negative, that's going to become plus a positive. So that's going to become 2 plus 10, which is 12. All right, this one, 8 minus negative 17. Minus a negative is plus a positive. So that becomes 8 plus 17, which is 25. All right, this next one, negative 9 minus negative 14. So once again, minus a negative becomes plus a positive. And that becomes negative 9 plus 14. And negative and positive, they're different signs, so I subtract. So 14 minus 9 is 5. 14 bigger, it's positive 5. All right, the next one, negative 16 minus negative 7. Minus a negative is plus a positive. Sorry, my child's now in here. And then they're different signs. So different signs subtract. 16 minus 7 is 9. Keep the sign of the larger number, then I'll be exact. So 16 is bigger, it's negative, so it's negative 9. All right, you all try this one.
The phone's right there.
Yeah, we'll go watch the phone.
Okay,
all right, so on this last one here, minus a negative will become plus a positive, and then they're different signs, so I subtract. So 15 minus 4 is 11. 15 is bigger, it's negative, so it's negative 11. So these same exact rules are going to apply to our decimals, okay? So if they're different signs, I'm going to subtract. If they're same sign, I'm going to add and keep, all right? So we're not going to do all of these. We're going to kind of go through and pick and choose. So I'll put a star next to one we're going to choose since you can't see me point. All right, so we're going to start with this one. So 4.5 minus 6.3. All right, so this is a positive 4.5 and a negative 6.3. So those are different signs, so I subtract. So 6.3 minus 4.5. So they're different signs to subtract. All right, so I can't do 3 minus 5, so I'm going to have to borrow from this 6. So that'll become a 5, and this will become a 13. So 13 minus 5 is 8. Drop down my decimal. 5 minus 4 is 1. And then I go back and keep the sign of the larger number. 6.3 is bigger. It's negative, so this is a negative 1.8. I'm going to do this one now. So negative 2.9 minus 1.6. So it's a negative 2.9, and it's also a negative 1.6 because the minus sign means that number is negative. So those are both negative, so it's same sign, add and keep. So I'm going to add together 2.9 and 1.6. So 9 plus 6 is 15. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 1 is 4. So same sign, add and keep the sign. So I'm going to keep the negative. All right, you all try this one right here. Okay, you can sit up here. All right, so you should have seen that that's a negative 4.1 and a negative 6.8. So they're same sign, add and keep. So I'm going to add 4.1 plus 6.8. So 1 plus 8 is 9. And then 4 plus 6 is 10. And same sign, they're both negative, so I add and keep. All right, we're going to move on to the next part of the decimal. So I'm going to start with this first one. So 2.5 minus negative 6.5. And if you all need me to slow down, just feel free to pause the video, go back and watch it again, so that you can take your time here if you miss something. And then if you all have a question and I'm not there, discuss it with each other. I bet somebody in the classroom is able to explain it to you as well, somebody that already really gets this stuff. All right, so on this one, 2.5 minus negative 6.5. Oh, I just said minus a negative. Minus a negative becomes plus a positive. So now it's 2.5 plus 6.5. Those are same sign because they're both positive. So I'm going to add and keep. All right, so 5 plus 5 is 10. 1 plus 2 is 3, and 3 plus 6 is 9, and they're both positive, so I add and keep. So positive 9.0 or just 9. All right, I'm going to skip to this one now. So negative 9.2 minus negative 7.4. Oh, I said minus a negative. So this minus a negative is going to change to plus a positive. So now that I changed it, this is a negative 9.2 and a positive 7.4. So they're different signs. Subtract. So I'm going to subtract them. So 2 minus 4. I can't do 2 minus 4, so I'm going to borrow from this 9, make it an 8. Make this 2 a 12. And 12 minus 4 is 8. I bring down my decimal. And 8 minus 7 is 1. And then I'm looking to see which one was the larger number. 9.2 is larger. It was negative, so it's negative 1.8. All right, I want you all to try this one by yourself. So give us just a second to try that one. Like I said, pause it if you need more time. All right, so negative 4.7 minus negative 3.6. So minus a negative, that's going to make that become plus a positive. And then this is a negative 4.7 and a positive 3.6. So those are different signs. So I'm going to subtract. So 7 minus 6 is 1. Drop down my decimal. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then 4.7 is bigger. It's negative, so it's negative 1.1. All right, so we're going to flip over and go to the last page of fractions. So remember with fractions, we get rid of mixed numbers by making them improper. And then we make a common denominator. And then we'll add or subtract the numerators. Okay. So like I said, we're going to skip around. We're not going to do all of these because this first section already has like denominators. All right, so I'm going to start here. And like I said, we're not going to fill in those lines because I'm not super fond of the way they say that. So we're just going to keep going here with the way that we were. So this first one, 3/5 minus 4/5. So I look, there's no mixed numbers, so that's good. I already have a common denominator of 5. So I know my answer is going to be something over 5. And then I'm only going to look at the numerators. So it's 3 minus 4. So looking at the numerators, positive 3, negative 4. So those are different signs. Subtract. So 4 minus 3 is 1. I keep the sign of the larger number. 4 is bigger. It's negative. So it's negative 1/5. All right, I'm going to go to here. So negative 3/4 minus 1 1/4. So I'm looking at it. I do have a mixed number, so I'm going to have to change that into an improper fraction. So 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that's going to be 5 over 4.
Look.
All right, and then I already have a common denominator of 4, which is good. And then I look at the numerators because I know it's going to be something over 4. So negative 3 minus 5. So negative 3, negative 5. So that is same sign, add and keep. So 3 plus 5 is 8. I keep the negative. And remember, if you can reduce, you should. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that actually reduces to the whole number of negative 2. All right, why don't you all try this one real quick? All right, so looking at it, there's no mixed numbers, so I don't have to change anything. It already has a common denominator of 10, so I know it's going to be something over 10 for my answer. So it's -3 minus 9. So -3 and a -9, because the minus is in front of the 9. So they're same sign, add and keep. So 3 plus 9 is 12. I keep the negative. And then they're both even numbers, so they're reducible by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So that would be my final answer there. All right, I'm going to skip down and go to this one. Sorry, my son's like all up here. He can't be alone, so. All right, so this last one that we're going to do right here out of this section. So -8/9 minus -4/9. Oh, I just said minus a negative. So minus a negative is plus a positive. So I'm going to rewrite that to be +4/9. After that, I look at the denominators and there's no mixed numbers. But I look at the denominators, they're already same. So I know it's going to be something out of 9. And then I look at the numerators, -8 plus 4. Oh, they're different signs. So 8 minus 4 is 4. Keep the sign of the larger number. 8's bigger. It's negative, so it's -4/9. All right, so we're going to move on to the last section and just do a couple out of here. Actually, there's 4. We'll probably just do 2 of them. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to find a common denominator. So that part I'm okay with. And then we're going to follow the same steps that we've been doing. All right, so we are going to start with this first one. So -1/6 minus 2/3. So remember, we changed from mixed number to improper, which I don't have any mixed numbers. And then I'm making a common denominator. Looking at this one, I don't have a common denominator. I have 6 and 3. So let's think of some common denominators here. So the first one that I can think of is 6. People might say 12. Some people might just say 6 times 3 is 18 and use 18 as a common denominator. All that is fine. I will always use the smaller one. So I'm going to change that 2/3. I'm going to change that 2/3 into a denominator of 6. So 3 times what makes 6? 2. So that's going to be -1/6 minus 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 2 is 6. Now that I have a common denominator, I know that my answer is going to be something over 6. And then I'm going to use my rules for just the numerators. So -1 minus 4. Well, that's -1 and -4. So that same sign, add and keep. So 1 plus 4 is 5. I'm going to keep the negative. So that's -5/6. And that does not reduce, so that's where I would stop. All right, I'm going to move to this one. So 3/12 minus -1 and 2/3. So minus a negative, I know that's going to change to be plus a positive. And then I'm going to go for it. So I notice that I have a mixed number. So I'm going to change that to improper. So 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5.
Can I open this?
And then that makes it be ready for a common denominator. All right, so looking at the denominators, 12 and 3. If you want to just say 12 times 3 is 36 and go with that, you can. But I would say that the best common denominator would be 12. So the first fraction is already 12. So 3 times what makes 12? 4. So that's going to be 3/12. 5 times 4 is 20/12.
Stop.
And then 3/12 plus 20/12 is going to be something 12. And then I just look at the numerators. 3 plus 20. Well, that's both positives, the same sign, add and keep. So 3 plus 20 is 23. and it's positive, so it's positive 20. All right, you all try this one, and then I will stop talking. My son will stop coughing. I'll give you just a minute. If you need more time, pause the video. Okay, so first thing I notice, it's negative 1 1/2 minus a negative 4/5 minus a negative. I'm going to change that to be plus a positive. And then I'm going to change my mixed number to improper. So 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then a common denominator of 2 and 5 is 10. So I'm going to multiply this one by 5 because 2 times 5 makes 10. I'll multiply this one by 2 because 2 times 5 makes 10. So that'll be a negative 15 tenths. 4 times 2, that's 8 tenths. So I know it's going to be something tenths. And then I'm going to look just at the numerators. Negative 15 plus 8. So those are different signs. So I'm going to subtract. So 15 minus 8 is 7. 15's bigger. It's negative. So it's negative 7 tenths. And that does not reduce. All right. So you also have a homework paper that I want you to do the odds on again. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 15, I think is all that's on there. So just do the odds only. Okay. And if you have any questions, please use those around you because I'm sure there's somebody that's already pretty expert at this in each class. Okay. All right. And hopefully I will see you all tomorrow.